What if the most interesting part of the D.B. Cooper story isn't D.B. Cooper? The legend is etched into history, November 24th, 1971. A quiet man in a business suit, a bomb in his briefcase, and a simple demand, $200,000 and 4 parachutes. He was calm, polite, and completely in control. Somewhere over the dark forests of the Pacific Northwest, he jumped from the back of a Boeing 727 and into immortality. He is the ghost of the American skies, a folk hero who pulled off the perfect crime and was never seen again. But this isn't his story. This is the story of the men who tried to be him. The story of the strange and dangerous contagion that D.B. Cooper unleashed upon the world. The story of his shadows. Less than 5 months after Cooper vanished, the first serious copycat emerged. His name was Richard McCoy Jr., and he didn't just imitate Cooper, he tried to perfect his crime. He boarded a flight with a hand grenade and a familiar-looking briefcase. He demanded $500,000 and 4 parachutes. He even gave the flight attendants the same instructions. It was a flawless piece of criminal theater. He got the money, and just like his hero, he jumped into the night sky over Utah. For a moment it seemed there were 2 ghosts, but McCoy made mistakes. He left behind his handwritten notes and a magazine he'd been reading. It was enough. The FBI found him 2 days later. He was a Vietnam veteran, a Sunday school teacher, and a wannabe folk hero who almost made it. Not all of the shadows were so professional. Meet Frederick Hanneman, a 49-year-old man who hijacked a flight a few months after McCoy. He got his $200,000 ransom, but his planning was amateurish. He made the mistake of fleeing to Honduras, a country that had a rather inconvenient extradition treaty with the United States. He was arrested within weeks, his fortune gone, his escape a failure. And the copycats kept coming. The 12 months following Cooper's jump became known as the golden age of skyjacking. It was a bizarre, almost weekly occurrence. Some were clumsy, some were tragic, and some, like the case of Rob Heddy, were just deeply pathetic. He demanded $200,000, just like Cooper, but he got greedy and tried to increase his demand mid-flight. He was arrested in the airport before he'd even received a single dollar. So, what is the riddle here? The real mystery isn't just about parachutes and ransom money. It's a question of psychology. Why did one man's apparent success inspire such a wave of desperate imitation? The answer is the power of a myth. D.B. Cooper wasn't just a criminal, he became a legend, an anti-authority figure who beat the system and got away with it. He was cool, he was calm, he was a ghost. But the men who followed him were not ghosts. They were real people, often desperate, in debt, or simply seeking a moment of fame. In a life of quiet desperation, they copied the moves, but they couldn't copy the myth. The legend of D.B. Cooper is a story of a perfect unsolved crime, but the story of his copycats is a brutal lesson in reality. It reveals that for every romantic folk hero, there are a dozen flawed human beings chasing his shadow, and a hard landing waiting for them at the end of the fall. The D.B. Cooper case remains unsolved, but the phenomenon he created is a fascinating riddle in itself. Why do you think society is so often captivated by the myth of the gentleman criminal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you believe that some mysteries are about the why as much as the who, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Relic Riddles. Thanks for joining the Relic Hunt. We'll see you on the next one.